Now, with a 50% drop in active COVID-19 cases, now is the time to lift the ban on alcohol sales. That's the call from the South African Liquor Brand Owners Association. They say it's necessary to prevent further job and revenue losses. Let's unpack now the details with the association's chairperson, Sibani Mngadi, and the Liquor Trader Formation's convener, Ntimane. Thanks for your time, gentlemen. We appreciate it. Sibani, I'll start with you because you issued the statement earlier today. You've obviously looked at the research from the NICD. You're seeing a drop in hospitalizations and active cases. So you reckon this is the time to sell alcohol again?
Yes, this is premised on, of course, the address of the president that there was need to consider to balance livelihood and lives when the ban was implemented, and the firm purpose was to create capacity in the health system to be able to handle the then sharply rising cases of infection. And we see generally the new infections are on a downward trend compared to the 28 when the alcohol sales were banned. And I think the encouraging number is the number of active cases, which has also declined up to 50% for provinces like Western Cape. And then we looked at what is happening in the hospital capacity itself in terms of number of people admitted, and we see a general decline, especially in the provinces that are quite major contributors in terms of the epidemic of the pandemic. KZN, Eastern Cape, Gauteng and Western Cape, we will see a range of between 60 to 69% reduction in admission.
Yeah, and of course, you argued that this is to save jobs and so that the industry can get back up and running. So, Lucky, I'll bring you in on that one, because another week without alcohol sales means more people are at risk of losing their jobs.
Good afternoon, Shahan. Good afternoon to eNCA viewers. Really appreciate the opportunity, and good afternoon to Mr. Mngadi. Look, for us now, it's a matter of 3 days left. If we are not able to open, in the next 3 days, it's game over for us. It's game over for travel sectors, we know it. But we are hopeful, that the president will do the right thing and allow us to go back into the reality that we know, which is looking after our families and supporting the 250,000 jobs that are dependent on us as taverns being operational. So this is something that, we hold dear to our heart, because it's something that, we have been doing for a long time, sending our kids to school, as well as taking care of our families. We really need to get back to working. And 3 days is all we have to be able to fully operationalize, our request to the president, so that we can get everything back to normal as we continue to support government's efforts in fighting against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Sibani, of course, you've released a statement regarding why liquor sales should be allowed. Have you taken it to government? Have you put your suggestions forward? Is that at all possible even?
Well, the engagement with government has been quite difficult. I think we lack a level of response to much of the suggestions that we have put forward. But indeed, yes, we have made a submission in that regard, a number of them, including the issue of excise tax that we are currently liable for. We're still getting responses, at least from the Treasury side. But we hope that the Cabinet and the NCC, when it meets, then it's able to look at the data that is available. We can't anymore rely on kind of social media posts about what is happening in the hospitals. I think we have in the NICD a credible state entity that is able to demonstrate what is actually happening. I think at this time it is about the time where we relook at the situation, considering that major companies in this sector, Heineken, SAB, Distel, have already announced job losses, and it's not that others are not having difficulties. They've implemented salary cuts and various other cost-cutting measures, and the situation is quite desperate. And the more the ban is extended, the more difficult it's going to become for the sector to ever recover.
Yeah, Lucky, if this ban is lifted, there is some responsibility, actually a major responsibility on tavern owners and anyone who sells alcohol to make sure that people are being responsible, right? Because we saw people gather in large numbers at bars, etc., when alcohol was being sold.
Yes, and the responsibility that we have, is ensure that we continue to trade in liquor in a responsible manner. And for this, we'd like to commend the great work that Mr. Mngadi and his team have put together in supporting us as liquor traders to really execute the tavern compliance programs that we are running currently in 5 key provinces that have been identified as major hotspots, but also in terms of non-compliance to issues of COVID-19, which is the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, KZN, Northwest, and Gauteng. So, but we are confident, Shahan, given the desperation that our members find themselves in, to really open up and really support government's efforts. And we can only do that by trading responsibly. So we are really confident that, should we be able to be let in again, into trading, we will be able to fully support government's efforts, but also, carry on the mandate of the liquor manufacturers, which is to ensure that we've got a responsible trading environment going forward.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. That was Sibani Mngadi from the South African Liquor Brand Owners Association and the Liquor Trader Formation's convener, Lucky Ntimane.